Hi, my name is Andy, and this is my first YouTube video, so you're going to have to bear with me. I've never made one before. It's going to be a new experience. I'm making this video and subsequently many other videos because I realize that I have abilities that can help people. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and what the point of these videos are going to be, and then you going forward can decide what you want to watch, what you don't want to watch. I'm a 52-year-old woman. I have 4 children, one still young, 2 teenagers, and 1 out of the house. I've been a nurse for 28 years. I'm still actively a full-time nurse. I do home care, going into the homes and helping with people. My background's basically mostly ICU, and I was a nursing supervisor in a hospital for years. So I have a pretty wide and varied background as a nurse, a lot of medical knowledge. The only thing I really don't have is pediatric or children experience as a nurse, and that's just because I didn't want to cry all the time in my job, so I chose not to do that. I'm also a Reiki practitioner. For those of you who do not know what Reiki is an energy healing type of thing where the practitioner puts their hands into the field around somebody's body, which is usually 3 to 4 inches away, not that far, and manipulates energy within their body. Reiki is able to heal things. It's able to control pain. It's able to help lessen cardiac disease. And these aren't things they just make up because they think it sounds good. These are bona fide facts that have now been studied and proven over and over again. A lot of major hospitals have Reiki practitioners that actually go into like anesthesia and surgery, and some people choose not to have anesthetic. A Reiki practitioner will control their pain while they're being operated on, and this is not a joke. You can look this up on the internet where there's all the information in the world going on. I also do a lot of other energy type work, which is going to be very hard for me to explain, and I really on a video can't explain too well. Some of it's taken off of other practitioners that I've worked with, that I've experienced myself, that I've researched, and some of it's actually my own practice. I have actually made up my own healing techniques that I have never seen another person do, I've never read about from another person, and are very individually my own. I have a working practice within my home here. I'm actually sitting in my downstairs, which is my, I guess, office, as you would say, that I do hands-on. I have a Reiki table actually right behind this camera, and if at some point I'll show you the setup of my room down here, but this is actually my practicing room. One of the purposes of this video is, let me stop. So I want to back up for a second. I thought about doing this about a year ago. I have helped, honestly, thousands and thousands of people in my life, not just in my nursing career, but in my personal life. Not just in Reiki and stuff I do in my home here, but in everyday life, on the street, out in stores, random meetings with people. I don't know why. I have a gift. I do. I can't play the modest card because it's nothing to be modest about. It's something that I don't know where it came from. I'm very happy to have it. And I realize as I get older that my main focus and goal is going to be doing this kind of work with people, because this is where I think the most difference gets made. Because YouTube and social media has honestly become the norm for everybody, including people my age and older, my whole point in doing this is because most people can't afford therapy. Most people can't afford advice from a nutritionist. Most people can't afford a lot of things, and that's unfortunate. And with Trump in office now, maybe that'll get better, maybe it won't. I really don't know. We're not going to get into any politics on this site ever. I hope it goes well. If it does great. But I am a big believer that I was put on this earth for a very specific purpose, and the purpose was to help other people. And as my nursing career starts winding down, I need to refocus on what I really feel my real purpose is, and that's to help people for free. Yes, do I see people in my home environment? I do. I'll tell you honestly, Reiki is a work that in Iowa and a few select other states if you're an RN or any type of medically licensed person, you can put your hands on somebody. Most states you cannot. You can only stay within that, 3 to 4 inch energy field when you're practicing on them. But as a nurse here in Iowa, I'm in from Des Moines, Iowa, I can put my hands on people, and that is more helpful, and that does help a lot. And yes, I do charge money for that, honestly speaking, but I'm not selling my business here. I'm doing something because I feel I have a gift, and if I have a gift, I should give, and I want to do things free. And this site's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very dynamic. It's going to be all over the place with what we're going to do. We're going to talk. One day we're going to talk about past lives. One day we're going to talk about how can you help heal abuse. One day we're going to talk about, supplements and vitamins and things that are good for certain things. I'm going to incorporate all of my knowledge into this, what I'm going to do here on YouTube. I'm going to help. And here's the thing you need to know. I'm happy with me. You don't have to believe anything I say. You don't have to believe in what I believe. I'm okay with that. If you continuously listen to, all the videos are going to be different, and they're going to talk about different things. So next week we may talk about past lives, and you may think that lady is a crackpot, and that's great. If you don't believe in that, turn it off. Just turn your camera off or turn your phone off and move on. Come back the next week, see what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm going to talk about ways you can help pain in your body. Maybe I'm going to talk about ways you can sleep better. This is going to be a really varied enterprise. So I want you to just bear with me that something I say, oh, here's my little kitten, or my son's little kitten. Something I say is going to be useful to you at some point. And I believe that 1,000%. I know, I guarantee 1,000% that at least one of my videos that I make is going to help you in some way or other. So if you don't like one, move on. You may find the next one's terrific. Honestly speaking, I'm not a big fan of organized religion. Having gone to high school and lived in the South, I saw a lot of damage. I saw a lot of what organized religion can do to people in a negative way. But this site's not about religion. The site's going to have something to do with spirituality, which is very, very different. People who do Reiki and people who do energy work tend to be extremely spiritual people. They tend to be very connected to the other plane where the spirits are. I myself have some mediumship abilities, so sometimes dead people pop in and talk to me. It's not something I do for a living. It's not something I'm extremely good at. I don't know why sometimes people do and sometimes people don't. But I'm not against organized religion. I want to preface that. So I want to understand people. If you're Catholic and it works for you, terrific. If your religion is important to you and you get a lot out of it, and you see wholesome and goodness around you in your religion, and you see people living how they speak, that's fantastic. I'm all for that kind of organized religion. Unfortunately, I've been on the other end of that where I've seen a lot of negativity. The thing I would ask people who are very devoutly this, that, or other is, if that gives you peace in your life, that is terrific. But don't assume it gives other people peace in their life. That's an important thing. Metaphysical people like myself, people that are really heavy into spirituality, we don't really try to impress our opinions on other people. We let people make their own decisions. And that's all I would ask you if you're a devoutly religious person is, remember, your religion works for you, and that's great. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody else. So don't make it your life's mission to try to convince everybody else to believe what you believe. Enjoy what you believe. Get out of what you believe what you can. But understand other people operate differently. I'm probably internally one of the happiest people I know. And I'm not remotely religious. I'm extremely spiritual. So this is going to be part of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, different lives, different planes, your purpose in this earth, plus that side over here, medical stuff, plus over here, things that will help you do this, plus over here, things that will help you do that. So this is just going to be an inclusive, all-around website. I'm going to call myself the all-encompassing healing RN because I'm going to do a lot of things to try to help people. Another thing, before we go into our subject for today, is I think this is going to be an important thing to say to a lot of people. So a year ago I thought about doing this, and I hesitated. And honestly, I hesitated because of my weight. And I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people, why they stopped doing stuff. I've always been a really big athlete. I've always worked out a lot. I still work out a lot, believe it or not. That's always been a huge part of my life. And then about 2 years ago, I got fibromyalgia. And that's pretty much kicked my ass, if you want to know the truth. It brought me down in many ways. It's been mentally very difficult for me to deal with because I was always such a healthy person, that to all of a sudden have this thing that, you know, brought me to my knees in pain every day was pretty humbling. Pretty humbling when you think you're just going to go skating through life feeling great all the time. Also made me a much better nurse because it made me appreciate people who have chronic pain, which I think we all tend to do. We all tend to poo-poo people who have chronic pain. Oh, you're a big whiner. Oh, suck it up. Oh, whatever. I won't say I was to that degree because I am a nurse, so I naturally have some empathy. But I was one of those people that used to think people use fibromyalgia as an excuse not to work, and fibromyalgia as an excuse not to do X, Y, Z. And now that I have it, it's been pretty sobering. And I don't want to say I ever stopped exercising in the last 2 years because I've always exercised, but it certainly lessened as I tried to deal with and grapple with pain. Recently, I've kind of come to terms with the fact that my weight may change, my weight may not. It doesn't change who I am. I've always been pretty happy, honestly, with who I am and what I give to the universe at large. And so I finally decided I got to stop that. I got to stop letting my weight keep me from giving to other people what I'm able to give. Fat, thin, in between, I still have this gift. Doesn't change this, what this looks like, doesn't change that fact. So for you who are out there heavy and struggling with the same issues, just remember that. Your weight is not your identity. I know you think it becomes your identity. Fortunately for me, I have a good self-worth. I'm in a happy marriage. I had, loving parents. I had a dad that made me feel I was the smartest thing on the planet. I could do anything I wanted. So even with my weight up and down and whatever, I've never suffered inside that I'm who I am. And that's what I want to give to people that have a weight issue is it doesn't define you. Don't let it stop you. Everybody here has something to give somebody else. Everybody here has something to give their neighbor, their family, their neighborhood, their city, and the universe at large. Everybody does. So just be me right now. If you're heavy, be me. Don't let your heaviness stop what you can give to other people. Okay, so I know it's been a random mumbo-jumbo bunch of stuff, and every video is going to be a little bit different. Disclaimer. Disclaimer will be on every video. I am not a physician. I am a nurse. I've been a nurse a lot longer than most physicians, and I know a lot more than some physicians, but and I don't know as much as some. But I am highly qualified as a nurse. I'm quite intelligent as a nurse, and I have lots of experience. And I'm going to say things in videos that I believe this is a great thing for this disease. I believe this is the thing I want you guys out there to understand who take to heart what I say. Check with your physician. Your physician is your physician. And if you're lucky enough to have a good bond with your physician, ask him. I heard this. My nurse or this lady suggested, or I heard my neighbor say, whatever you want to say, that this vitamin is great for me and it gives energy and it helps with mood and whatever. Is that true? Would that be a problem with any of the medications I'm on? Because I'm responsible and I understand. I don't know what medications you guys are all on. So I understand different things react differently. But when I put things out there, I'm putting things out there that I know as fact. I'm not pretending. I know. That are good for diabetes, are good for heart disease, whatever. I would not tell you if I did not sincerely believe what I was saying. I will never say anything on this video half-assed. Everything I say is going to be from my knowledge base, from my heart, from my soul. I absolutely believe everything I'm saying. And so your responsibility is to take what I say, and if it's a medical thing, clear it with your doctor. Okay? So today, let's talk about purpose. One of the things we're seeing anymore in our country and in the world is spiritual divide, unhappiness, chaos, whatever term you want to use. We see people flocking away from organized religions more than they're flocking to organized religions. We all know that family member who won't convert, or that family member who's left the, XYZ, or, for any of you who've seen the recent thing with Leah Remini and the Scientology thing, that's been fascinating, hasn't it? People are literally getting away from religion. I think a lot of people are realizing that for them, religion is not the be-all and end-all. It's not solving their problems. It's not making them feel better. It's not getting over being sexually abused as a child. It's not doing anything but sometimes making them feel worse about themselves. So for those of you who are just kind of out there grasping and looking and feeling there's something more and feeling there's a higher self or purpose or whatever, this is going to be a sight for you. Remember, everything I say on this video is what I believe. It doesn't make it right or wrong. Don't send me things saying you're a dumb jerk, wad, stupid, whatever, lady, you're nuttier than a fruit cake. This is all my opinion, and this is all what I believe. I don't ever go out and make fun of what other people believe, even if I think it's the dumbest thing on earth. I don't ever make fun of other people's beliefs because I know it's how they get through the day. My beliefs do the same for me. They get me through the day. They make me internally happy. So I can't argue with them. They're working for me pretty well. So my spiritual side has many planes. And what we're going to talk about today is purpose. And for those of you who are searching, I'm here to tell you 100% you have a purpose. A lot of people come up in this world and I go, really? Really? What was my purpose? My father sexually abused me. My mother ignored it. I got sent to foster care. I grew up with these people beating me. I'm not the most attractive person on the world. Blah, 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 blah. I hear you. I do. I hear you. It sucks. Would I want to go through your lifetime? No. Have I gone through my own lifetime of stuff? You betcha. So don't think just because I had decent parents, and I have a cat that's moving the camera right now, don't think that's stopping the fact that I went through some stuff myself. I've also suffered sexual abuse. I've also suffered the abuse at the hands of somebody. I know what it's like. I come with some knowledge. I'm going to move my chair since the cat's moving the thing around. Here's the deal. I believe in multiple lives. And I believe that when you come down to every lifetime, I believe we've all come many, 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 many times to not just this planet, but many planets and many things that we don't even know exist yet. Many things out in the stratosphere and atmosphere and universes and all that we don't even know are there yet. I believe we've been in so many different forms, and we've been black, white, green, female, male, disfigured, died young, died old, died poor, died rich. I believe we've done it all, and I believe we do it all for a reason, because we're trying to hire ourselves. I'll tell you honestly, do I believe in God? I do not. Do I believe in a higher power? You betcha. Metaphysical, and here's the interesting thing about metaphysical people. A lot of metaphysical people do believe in God, and that's terrific. I think we all just call it a different thing, honestly. I don't believe in a guy sitting in a robe and a throne ordering people around, which is a lot of what people's conception of, God is. I believe there is a higher spiritual power. I think it's asexual. I don't think it's a male or female. And I think our purpose is to try to evolve to the point that we no longer have to come down to any planet or anywhere, that we get to stay into the spiritual realm and be teachers. So that's my opinion. That's my belief. So I believe every time we choose a life, before we go down it, we, see little snippets and reels of different lifetimes that we can choose, because let's say this lifetime I need to learn empathy. That's my goal. I need to learn empathy because I've just never been a real empathetic person. I've never been in a lifetime yet where I either A, that was the thing I learned, or B, oh, there goes my camera. I successfully learned it. So I'm coming down and I'm going to learn empathy. So I see little snippets of different lives I can choose. Different parts of the country, different parts of the world, black, white, green. Like I said, you could be many things. But I think you pick the lifetime you're going to go into, because this lifetime you really need to get that empathy thing down. and you pick the one you go into. And so you have a purpose. There's purpose number one. Your purpose is to come down and learn empathy. Now, when you come down here, do you know that? No, you don't. It's frustrating because you think to yourself, why can't I know what my purpose is? Then I can do it and my life will be great. Well, if it worked that way, then nobody would be on the planets anymore, and we'd all be in the spiritual realm hanging out because everybody would have conquered everything. Life is supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be hard. We earn nothing by ease. That's how people learn. That's how people grow. That's how people get tougher. That's how people evolve as human beings and spirits, is by going through a grueling, difficult process that makes us tougher and makes us learn what we're supposed to learn. So like I said, that's purpose number one when you come down here. The other interesting thing that happens is you also may be somebody else's purpose while you're here. We tend to travel in soul families. Remember, disclaimer, my opinion. So we travel in soul families. So we tend to travel with the same group of souls from lifetime to lifetime, playing different roles. You know, my husband now could have been my sister in another lifetime, my son in another lifetime, whatever. We may come down, I may come down to this earth, and honestly speaking, I'm a very happily married person. I've been with my husband for 20 years, but just like everybody else, we had struggles. There are times I could have left him, and there's times I probably should have left him. But one thing I knew the day I met my husband, literally the day I met my husband, I knew my husband, he was one of my purposes and I was one of his purposes. And the interesting thing is, this occurred before I even really believed in what I'm talking about today, because I was an atheist till I was about 35. And then my dead dad came and visited me and kind of changed everything up for me, so it kind of opened my eyeballs. But so this is really before I understood this. But the day I met him at the hospital, I'm like, there's something here. I don't know what, I'm supposed to do something for him. And the longer he and I have been together, the more I realized that one of my purposes was to help him. And I'm sure one of his was to help me, but I don't know that. But that's why I'm saying, everybody comes down with a purpose of their own. We all pick a lifetime. We all come down to learn anger management, empathy, break a cycle of abuse, whatever. We all come with a purpose, but we also may be somebody else's purpose. So that's an important responsibility for us to understand. I take my responsibilities with my own family pretty seriously. Because like I said, I know one of my purposes was to help my husband. I know one of my purposes was to help one of my specific children. I just know, when you really get into this, you start spotting and identifying some of your soul family while you're here, that you feel like, have you ever met that person on the street and you've talked for 5 minutes and you literally think, I've known this human being forever. I've known them forever. Yeah, you probably have. You've probably gone through 20 lifetimes with them. They're probably one of your soul family. You just feel like they're a long lost sister or brother or whatever. Sometimes we just instinctively know. We pick up on our soul family people, and though we don't realize that's who they are, we know there's some connection. And then some people, we just out and out. We're like, I know, like some of my children, I know I've traveled with these children through probably 150 lifetimes. That's how familiar they are to me when they came into this earth. So, you may be somebody else's purpose. You have your own purpose. The big thing is, you got to figure out what it is. And if this is a whole new concept to you, and spirituality is just a whole new idea to you, and past lives and regressions and coming back and going back and all that, it's difficult. I knew my purpose pretty early in life, even before I was spiritual. I knew my purpose. I knew I was going to help people right away when I was very young. I knew that was one of my main purposes, and it continues to be one of my main purposes. But I was really in tune. I've always been really in tune to nature and the atmosphere and the earth and the sun and the moon. Those have always been very intrinsic things for me. So it was easy for me to figure out what my purpose is. If it's not for you, then you have to stop and get into a quiet space. Stop where there's no chaos. If you can get into a space, there's no chaos, there's nobody yelling at you, there's no children yelling at you, there's no spouse yelling at you, there's no boss yelling at you. This is the important thing. To find your purpose, and to figure it out, you have to get in a quiet space. You have to like this, down here, this is my quiet space. It's a very relaxing room. And one day I'll take my camera, like I said, and show you around. It's a very peaceful, nice room. And you have to quiet your mind. And you have to think, what are the obstacles that I have gone through most in my life? What are the obstacles? Was it sexual abuse? Was it physical abuse? Was it you weren't, Miss America? Was it you're short, you're too tall, you're too whatever? Really look at the main ideas and events in your life and think, what would be the one thing that all of those things would cause me to do? Do I have to get over being short? Do I have to get over being fat? Do I have to get over being super tall? Do I have to get over being abused? Do I have to get over having a cleft palate? What is it? Everybody when they get quiet can start seeing a pattern of, a lot of times the pure journey here is acceptance, self-acceptance. For a lot of people, that's all it is. It's not your purpose for somebody else. It's truly just self-acceptance. Maybe you're not perfect. Maybe that's dogged you your whole life. Are you smart? Are you witty? Do you have one of those brains like my youngest son who's sitting over here and my husband do, that they're so incredibly mechanical? They can just put things together and figure things out, and which I don't have that brain at all. Is that you? Do you have that gift? Everybody has a purpose. So like I said, maybe it's just self-worth. Maybe you get angry easy. Maybe you in your soul you get angry easy, and sometimes you don't even know why. You tend to be one of those jerk-offs that blame everybody else, and well, if he wouldn't piss me off, and if she wouldn't have said X, Y, Z, and if it wasn't cloudy today, and if the sky wasn't blue, I wouldn't be mad. Maybe you're one of those people. Then stop and think about that. Stop and think about that. You already know your purpose right there. Your purpose is to figure out how to deal with anger. It's to figure out how to see the beauty in stuff and not the bad stuff in stuff. How to temper who you are. How to find emotional release to get rid of the anger. That's your purpose. Maybe you're somebody who you're just a yes man. Yes, sir, I'll do that for you. Saturday and Sunday, sure, I'll work that for you. Do I really want to? And is my son's, basketball tournament? Yeah, but yes, sir, I'll work for you. And you want me to lead the company picnic? Yes, sir, I'll do that. Maybe you're one of those unfortunate people. And I say that nicely. That's unfortunate. Nobody wants to be those people. Even if they claim they do, they're lying. Because nobody wants to always give of themselves and never get in return. Okay, so are you that person? Every time people take advantage of you left and right, you're always lending money, you're always, doing everything everybody wants. Excuse me. Okay, then you know your purpose. Your purpose is to learn to say no. Your purpose is to learn your own value and to stand up for yourself. Your purpose is to do things that are good for your soul and make you happy and give you something pleasant in this lifetime. Not you always giving everybody else something pleasant in this lifetime. That's your purpose. So that's what I'm talking about. You just have to stop and think about, what is it that I have dealt with the most in my life? And how do I deal with that? Now, sexual abuse. And we'll talk about that more later in another video. Sexual abuse is probably about the most traumatic thing that could happen to a human being as a child. Realistically speaking, it is. Honest thing here, I have a 47-year-old brother who died of alcoholism because he was sexually abused as a little boy. Not his fault. Couldn't do anything about it. Wouldn't go get help. It kills people. It kills thousands of people every year. I know that. I know it's not fair, and I know it. You think, good God, what would be the purpose of that? Well, here's a twist on that idea for you to think about maybe. For people who believe like I believe, remember, you chose your life. You chose your life knowing what you were coming into. You knew that you were going to be the victim of sexual abuse when you came down here. That's why when you have this belief system, as crazy as it sounds, it gives you a lot of comfort, because the stuff you're going through, you chose. It's not just random things happening to you. You chose to go through the brunt of whatever big thing you're going through in your lifetime because you had a lesson to learn. You know, one of our beliefs is, let's say you were a sexual abuser in a lifetime, and now you have to come back as a sexual abusee to make up that karma. So maybe that's your purpose in this lifetime, is to have gone through that, but gone through it successfully. And see, that's the trick. My brother, he did not go through it successfully. You know, dying at 47 of alcohol, that's not successful. And honestly, I kind of worry he's going to have to come back and do it again because he got out the wrong way of the lifetime this time. But that's my point, is you chose to come down. You picked the lifetime you came into, so you have to wrap your mind around the idea that you have now just made up from some pretty serious karma that you created in another lifetime. But then it's how you handle that going forward. That's the life lesson. The life lesson is not you have to be abused. The life lesson is I had to suffer abuse, but I have to be okay. I have to not have an alcohol, a drug, a sex addict, a shopping addiction, a whatever problem to as my excuse. You have to fix it. You got to get your life right after having suffered abuse. So maybe that's your purpose this time. So there's so many things. So the big lesson for today is going to be, I want you to just sit, quiet your mind, and you have to do this. You can't be around chaos to do this. If you know, some of you will know right away. Some of you know now. Oh God, I know what my purpose is. I have no patience. I gotta learn to be patient. You know, I get angry all the time. I gotta learn how to control that. You know, I'm too sweet. I cry at everything and I give everything everybody wants. Oh, okay, I gotta stop that. Some people know right now, looking at me, what their purpose is, and some people kind of have an idea. And then some people are lost and they're looking at me like, you are a nut lady. I'm telling you now, you have a purpose. I guarantee it. If you can figure out what it is, it makes your life so much easier and smoother. It really does. So take some quiet time. Think about it. Figure it out. And then start working on that. And you'll find once you figure it out and you start working on it, your life starts getting a little bit better, piece by piece. So that is today's video. I'm going to put out a video every week to try to help people. So remember, this is the Free RN here on YouTube, trying to help everybody I can reach. And hopefully lots of you watch this. And like I said, if this is a video that you think I'm crazy, that's terrific. Luckily for me, I honestly don't care what people think about me. I know who I am. I'm good with who I am. But maybe the next video will be about something important to you and will help you. So keep watching.